Hi there, and welcome to Christ Lutheran Church's video looking at the seventh commandment. Each of the commandments so far has focused on an interesting topic that applies to our lives. And so does this one. The seventh commandment is about this, which is, of course, stuff. Stuff is really important because God gave us stuff. All the stuff that we have, ultimately, it comes from God. And so how we think about our stuff, our feelings about our stuff, how we act on the stuff that we have, it has to do with our relationship with God. In fact, God shows that it's so important that he gave a commandment about it. The seventh commandment says, "You shall not steal." God's being very direct here, isn't he? You shall not steal. There's stuff that you have, there's stuff other people have. I want you not to take their stuff. They don't get to take your stuff. Your stuff is your stuff, and their stuff is their stuff, and stuff matters. You shall not steal. One of the reasons why we get mixed up in this in our hearts and sometimes act out and make mistakes with the seventh commandment is because we have a hard time distinguishing between wants and needs. There are some things that we need to live. There are other things that we just want to live. It can be hard because it's not just desires in us that screw this up for us, but also other people and their opinions or society in general. They make us think that there's all these things that we need, and really they're just wants. It can be really hard then to not live in fear when you have less or when you see others who have more than you. Because, oh, do I not have what I need? No, it's going to be okay. You just don't have some things you want. We're going to get into some of the motivation from God that we need to keep this straight, especially when we get into the creed. But before we get into that, I want to talk about another thing related to the stuff that we have in the seventh commandment, which says, "You shall not steal." How are we going to live our daily lives with the stuff that God gives? Well, as far as the money and stuff that God has given to us, we have the option of giving, of being the kind of people who just give away what has been given to us. We give it to others. We also have the option to save it up, to keep it for ourselves and to let it grow in the bank account, and to keep those riches so that we can be okay in the future. That's another option. A third option is we can just enjoy the things that God has given to us, actually spend it on ourselves and live our lives enjoying the gifts that God gives. Okay, so those are three options. You can be the kind of person who gives, or the kind of person who saves, or the kind of person who enjoys the stuff that God gives. So how are we going to parse all that out? How are we going to figure out which of these three we're supposed to focus on? Are we supposed to give? Are we supposed to save? Or are we supposed to enjoy? Well, Paul talks about this, the Apostle Paul, in his first letter to his pastor friend Timothy. In 1 Timothy chapter 6, Paul writes, "Command those who are rich in this present world." By the way, that's us. I mean, if you live in America and you're getting by, you're rich compared to most people in this world, and especially most people in world history. We're doing very well. So command those who are rich in this present world, us, not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. In this way, they will lay up treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. Now, notice in here what we are told to do as far as good deeds. What are the good deeds we're told to do? We're told to be generous and willing to share. God wants us to be givers. He wants us who have been given so much to think, I don't need it all. I want to give away, and I might even give away a lot of it. Generous is what God calls us to be, and willing to share. So it's not like we just wait until someone says, "Hey, it'd be really great if you would do this." We should just be volunteering to share from the resources that have been given to us. So God says to give. But there's more. God also calls us rich, and he doesn't say not to be. He says, "You're rich, but that's okay. It's not a problem. that you're rich, and I don't want you to abandon your wealth. He says, hey, you're rich, and here's now what you can do given your riches. And so it's okay to save. It's okay to have money in the bank account. It's okay to lay away some money for other people or for yourself. So you think about your generation, the next generation. Yeah, saving is good. In fact, if you read the book of Proverbs, all those short little nuggets of wisdom in there, there's several times where we're told that if you don't save up, you're a fool. You're a fool because you're not getting ready for the calamity that may come into your life. So we're told to give. We can give to the church. We can give to other people. We can give to the poor and needy. We're also told to save. But there's a third thing. We're also told that what God gives to us is for our enjoyment. We can really enjoy the things that God gives. You don't have to feel guilty about having things and spending things and enjoying life. You don't have to hoard it all away, and you don't have to give it all away. It's okay to actually enjoy. And so we're told in this passage to do all three, to give, save, and live. And what helps us is to remember that in the seventh commandment, it's really focused on other people. We're told, you shall not steal. We're not supposed to take from what others have. They're not supposed to take from us. So as we try to live this out, thinking about others, figuring out how we're going to give, save, and live, here's your main point. Your main point is your neighbor owns stuff because God gave. Isn't that a great thing to celebrate? That your neighbor, the people in your life, they have stuff because God gave it to them. So another way to apply this to your life, not just give, save, and live. Another thing is you can thank God that your neighbor has the stuff they have. And this will wear away at your own desire for their things. If you keep praying this, it'll wear away at that so that you don't desire it so much and you're just thankful that God has blessed them in that way, even if God hasn't blessed you in that way. Here's a home activity. Read Genesis chapter 2, verses 4 through 15. That's from the creation count right at the beginning of the Bible. And ask yourself these questions. For what reasons did God give Adam lots of stuff? Was it so that Adam would be rich? Some other reason? All right. There you go. We'll see you next time. God bless.